All right, well, welcome everyone. I'm Cathy Cocozella. I am here with Stacia Waffen. We are excited to be talking about fast-paced recruiting growth. Recruiting is one of my favorite topics. I believe it's one of Stacia's as well.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, so today is October 6th. This is our third webinar, so we are talking about fast-paced recruiting growth. And so, but first, I thought it would be kind of fun just to hear from you guys. So we started with a little bit of sharing earlier. We want you guys to share a little bit about what's been happening, to brag about what's happening with your team. I'm wondering if Tiffany Irwin is on here. She has some exciting news to share.
Ooh.
Is Tiffany here? There she is. Jump in, Tiffany.
I'm here. Hey guys. We just completed month 1. Yay, September. Woo!
Yeah, so exciting. So since it's not official, I'm really not allowed to say it, but yeah, but I'd love to hear the other good news from, let's see, like Lisa Noto, Lexi Comfort, Michelle Matheny, Noelle Borchardt, if you're on here.
I know Michelle's not. I had a chat with her last night.
Okay,
and
I see Lisa's on. Lisa, do you have something exciting to share?
We promoted to an executive team. And we're closer to senior exec now than exec, so it's happening fast.
Hey.
It's like going into labor.
Oh, wow, I love it. Past labor.
Very exciting.
Fine, the best.
Congratulations, Lisa. That's so great. And I love your hair. It's so beautiful.
I've been in labor 22 years, so I'm finally giving birth to
Okay, that's a great analogy. I love it. Okay, anybody else? Any good news you guys have? Where's Kayla Ford? She just emailed me with some really great news.
I'm here.
Yes.
Our organization had a total of 6 promotions for last month. So lots and lots
Yay! Woo! And how many people are in your Director Bound program?
I have 5 in my first gen, 20 total in our org. So
wow, that's amazing. Way to go, Kayla. So exciting. And of course, she's going through some struggles with family health. And so we're keeping you in our prayers, Kayla. So we know what a fighter you are. Good. Who else wants to share something exciting? Come on, you guys. Be bold. Be courageous. Jump in and share. Anything that feels good.
I had a second gen promotion this month, for September.
All right, Angela. Way to go. That's awesome. Great. Who else? Michelle Anderson. Yeah, you guys can unmute and start talking, you know. I can't always see all of you.
We finished month 3 of senior executive, and so as of October 1st, we hit that, which is just mind-blowing to me still. And
wow.
6 promotions that happened in our organization. We beat our sales from last month, which in a month that started out not looking so hot at the beginning, it pulled through, and
wow.
we're just we're going for 100 new team members this month and just going after it.
What else are you going for this month, Michelle Anderson?
Month 1 of NED.
Woo!
Can I just ask all of you who are having success with whether it's promotions within your organization or promotion as an organization, will you share a tip in the chat?
Yeah, that's great.
Working for you?
Yeah, good idea, Stage. I love it. Good. All right, who else wants to come unmute and share? Little things, big things, they're all exciting.
I want to give a shout out to Jennifer Lewandowski because I started working with my personal team more in the month of September for really motivating and encouraging them. And she was kind enough to share her template for her banners. And my team is like telling me, oh, my star should be purple now. Oh, my star should be green now. My star should be orange. It's like, they're like excited with that update and having that little team chat and doing a booking blitz with just my personal team, not the whole org. I feel like it's making a big difference on how my personal team is growing and strengthening. and
I love
how
it.
they're encouraging one another. And I'm anticipating 3 or 4 of them promoting to director this month. So that's really exciting. But yes, thank you, Jennifer, for sharing that with me, because it is making a difference on my team.
You have
Yeah,
no
I
idea
have-
how you just made my day.
Oh, well, I'm going to make it even more, Jennifer, because I can't tell you on all the calls I've been on how many people are bringing your name up. So
Same.
yeah, and I want to thank Tiffany Irwin as well for sharing her little video of how she does her opportunity event. It's awesome. And so, you know, if you guys are going to put those slides into Facebook, make sure you change them up a little bit so that, you know, nobody ends up in Facebook jail. But really great job. And wow, Tiffany, such an inspiration of where you were 6 months ago. And now you are, you know, doing month, well, did month 1, going for month 2. So kudos to you. Good. Who else? Let's have 2 more.
Well, I have good news, bad news.
Okay. Hey, sometimes that's how it goes, Kay, right?
But the bad news is kind of motivated me. So anyway, we have a pretty strong org, and we had, if I count it right, 5 promotions within the org in the like 2nd, 3rd gen. But I lost a director. I mean, she hasn't gone. She's just back to being a consultant. She was really new, and she had a life tragedy. And just wasn't able to rebound. She tried, but she just didn't, but she wants to. So I'm going to be, it's caused me, I'm pulled all her team into mine, and I'm going to really work with her and her team to get her re-promoted. And she has someone on her team that's interested in promoting as well. So work with that, but it's caused me to really turn my attention to the weakest link, which is my own personal team, and to really start talking to them, not only on the team pages, but in chats. I mean, I've been doing some of that anyway, but I'm being more intentional and really put my focus there on the personal team. So I'm not going to let it get me down, you know, everything's there to work to make it happen. But anyway, I'm just, that personal team needs attention to get it going. And it's growing slowly, but it's growing. And
that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kay. So you know what? That's just life. That's not even bad news. That's just normal life. We are going to lose leaders, but we just have to be prepared for it. So one day, remind me to tell you the story of how I lost 6 leaders in 6 months. So that was a hard time for me. I had a pity.
Well, and no matter how prepared you are for it, it never gets easier.
Hey, yeah. So yeah, always hard to lose those leaders. So. All right, one more. Who else wants to jump in?
This is Janelle.
Go ahead.
I think my leaders were probably ready to shoot me. About a week ago, we decided to change up a lot of things, start a new consultant training, shake up our director bound. Let's see what else. There's a 3rd one. Anyway, we just changed a lot of things. But I got them on a call yesterday, and a lot of them were there. And they are so excited. We had our first new consultant orientation last night. 27 people showed up.
Wow.
Yeah, we did.
And it's not because they're all new, but we re-sparked some people who came because they feel like they've lost their luster through the COVID, challenges.
Right.
So that was exciting. And my directors, I asked them, hey, shall we do our Why Not You, Why Not Now Wednesdays every week this month based on the $40 off? And I'm not kidding you, like 10 seconds, I had 4 volunteers to do it. And I just wanted to hug them all. Right, Carrie? It was like such an energetic meeting. I was so excited.
Oh,
were you ready to kill me a week ago? No.
Well, I agree, just because I partner with her on this stuff. I'm her baby, one of them. And yeah, it was awesome. And then, we changed things up and did the new consultant orientation last night and boot camp. And I don't know, the energy is definitely on the rise, which is fun.
Yeah, well, it's good. Well, we are hearing that because we know August and September for some of you was slower, not everybody. And so, I hear a lot of energy and excitement about what's happening for October. So really keep the momentum going, guys. All right, let's go ahead and share.
Cathy, it's Lisa. Can I just share a quick idea that Sharon Zellner and I came up with this morning?
Sure.
We haven't done it yet, but it seems like it's going to be great. We're going to do a once a week power hour training where it's going to be fast-paced 20-minute segments on different topics. So they get a little bit of everything in that hour, and then it's going to just kind of naturally roll into, this is what we need to do with our businesses, is have power hours where we spend 20 minutes on our personal business, 20 minutes on our team, and 20 minutes on, you know, something where I guess a director.
So I'm going to have you share more about that in a little bit, because we're going to do some sharing of what's working in your business too. So thank you for jumping in with that. I love it. Okay, so Stacia, do you want to jump in and remind people about how this is working?
I would love to, as long as Kath, you and I are clear, we are still going the same way we had planned, right?
Yes, we are.
Okay.
It's not on the full screen. We can see your side once again.
Yep.
Oh, shoot, is it the wrong one again?
Yep.
I'm sorry, hold on.
Well, while you're fixing that, I'm going to go ahead and talk about the pass.
Go for it.
So if you didn't catch the live I did on Friday, and if you didn't get the email that we sent out Friday afternoon, one more little recap. Kath and I are so excited for Heritage Month and for our 40th anniversary. We have decided to do a little something extra and forgive one pass. So for all of you who had to take a pass in either August or September, we would love to just forgive one pass. And yes, I know some of you haven't had to take a pass, and that's amazing for you, and we're super proud of you, but want to reach out and just give a little extra to those of you who might need the help and forgive one pass from either August or September. So Kathy and I will take care of that. You need to do nothing. We will go back in and remove one pass. Now, for everybody who is a part of Executive Bound, you've got an extra opportunity to earn an additional pass this month. We want to see you stretch, and we want to see you guys set big goals, because we know you are more than capable of it. So we also want to see how many of you are going to take us up on this challenge. And I mean, you can get a kit for $9 right now. So stinking awesome in the US. And I think it would be like $29 in Canada. Where are my Canadians at? Somebody check me on that.
49.
49.
49.
Thanks, Michelle.
Yeah.
Going off memory, it's never a good thing.
Okay.
I appreciate all of you for keeping me in check on that. So when you recruit 5 new team members in the month of October, they don't have to qualify. Just recruit 5 new team members. You will earn an additional pass to be used in the remainder of your Executive Bound program. So think big. We know you guys have set big goals, and go for it. So if you're in and you're going to earn that free pass, let us know in the chat.
Yeah, just type I'm in. We want to know who's going for 5. Kaylee Jordan already said, I'm doing it. 5, I'm in. Cora, Danielle, Kathy, Mary, Jamie, Denise, going really fast.
I see that, my goodness.
Janelle, Aaron, Ja, for sure, Aaron Brown says. Yeah, we talked about that yesterday. Oh man, I love it.
Oh my goodness, I love it, Kath. Okay, so with the $40 offer, I'm so sure that there will be a ton of director promotions, even more than what you guys have already started to share, and several fast track promotions this month, which leads us to having many of you reaching for month 1 and month 2 of executive structure. With the $40 off and the $100 in free product, it is perfectly reasonable for any consultant, even brand new consultants who join today or tomorrow or anytime this month, to recruit and qualify 5, 6, 7, 8 tons of new team members in this month. So you know how great it can be when people are excited. And I know some of you are saying, you know, I just don't have the fire, or my team needs the fire. This is the fire. How many people do you know who join for the products, or maybe it's the deal, and maybe you were one of these people. They fell in love with Pampered Chef in their first 30 days, which means they will continue to perform next month and the next month and the month after that. Typically, consultants will duplicate what they do in their first month for each month after that for at least 3 or 4 months. The momentum you gain when you really work this offer is going to be unstoppable, and is truly, guys, going to propel you into 2021, which I think we're all really ready for. So now's the time for all of you to make it happen, no matter what your goal is. So anyone who's committed to reach exec by January 1st and be recognized and empower, and of course, be invited to exec sem, can do this now. Go for it in October and November and promote by December 1st. And you'll even be 1 month ahead of the game. So here, let me give you a little top tip. Take the number of leaders you need in each generation and double it, or perhaps even triple it. That's how many aspiring leaders you'll want to have. So if you need 2 more first generation leaders, get 4 or 6 that are going for it and are committed to work at it. You need to have the overage to make this happen. You don't want to just skate by with minimums, because remember, leaders never work to minimums. Now, of course, this is based on the number of leaders you currently have that you know are solid and will be able to meet their director requirements each month. So last month we started something new, and that's ramp up month. And we're really excited for several of you who've said, yes, I am ramping up in October. This is for those that really feel like they just need a month to build a little more, gain strength and momentum, and then go for month 1 of executive structure in November. The really cool thing about this is if you ramp up this month and then hit structure and qualifications in November and December, you're going to promote to executive by January 1st. And of course, you'll be invited to exec sem. You're going to want to attend it for sure, January 20th through 22nd of 2021. And it is all virtual, and it is going to be amazing. Cathy and I can assure you of that. So let us know if you're ramping up. The only way we know that you're going for a ramp up month or month 1 is if you complete that monthly link that we sent out at the end of the month, and we send out at the end of every month, and we post that on the Facebook page as well. So if you are ready to ramp up in October and you haven't let Cathy or myself know, please, please, please reach out and let us know so that we can support you. Or some of you may be thinking, well, I'm going for month 1. And if you didn't let us know that either, please do so today. Make a note right now, as soon as this webinar is over, to let us know. And please don't just drop it in the chat here, because we may miss that. So please reach out to us personally as soon as the webinar is over. I know Cathy and I both sent emails out on Friday afternoon just to confirm, and we've heard back from many of you, but not everyone yet. So would love to know though, if you're one of those people who are going for month 1 or month 2, go ahead and type that in the chat and let us know so that we can cheer each other on. If you're ramping up, you can drop that in the chat too. We are super excited. And remember, if you've not committed to working toward this goal by clicking the survey link, I'm going to say it until I'm blue in the face, please, please, please do that as soon as we are finished today. We cannot ask that enough of you, just because we want to be there to support you and make sure that you're able to maximize all that this program has to offer you.
Awesome. Okay, great. Yeah, so we can't, yeah, you're right, emphasize that enough. It does make it a little easier. We just don't want to miss anybody. So if you're not responding, we're assuming that you are, not going for it right now. So,
and that's totally okay too, right, Kath?
Absolutely, yeah. Whatever is your goal, we're just here to support that. So, and Stacia posted that link Friday.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so just search by Stacey's name. It's like the 2nd or 3rd one that pops up if you haven't done that. So, okay, so let's talk about becoming an inspirational leader, because that's what we like to talk about, right? And more importantly, how do you become an inspirational leader of an executive team? I can't tell you how many times people are about to get there and then they're like, oh man, I just hope I'm a really good executive. And you guys are implementing all the things that you need to do to be able to get there. But we want to really help you guys to understand the importance and what makes a difference with inspirational leaders. And that is that you have to create that vision and you have to create the culture. All right, so that's really the question, is what are you doing around this whole culture we're talking about today of fast-paced recruiting growth to really make that happen? So I always like to talk about this definition of culture. This is one of those things that I think would be so valuable to actually to memorize. And it's a set of shared values, goals, and practices that characterize a group, a team, or an organization. So that's one of these things you might want to take a snapshot of, put it on, your bulletin board, whatever you have. And culture is what we do, what we do and say, the way we behave and the way we treat others. And that's such a big part of it, because think about that, you guys. That's about relationships. How are you relating to other people? What are you saying to them? What are you doing and how are you modeling it? And how are you behaving and treating other people. So I think that's really, really critical. So as you guys know, we talk about these 3 cultures. And my question to you guys is, are you really aligning with these cultures? Do you know the 3 or 4 things that represent each of these cultures, and are you implementing them into your business? So today we are talking about a culture for fast-paced recruiting growth. And so these are the main things that you need to implement. And again, I've seen some people who were working towards exec or had just gotten to exec and thought, wow, I really thought I was embracing this, but I was kind of missing the boat on one of these, few things. So obviously setting the pace. Now we talk about 2 recruits a month, but if you're really setting the pace and you're doing your 4 parties a week, then you should be going with the 4 and 1 and going for 3 to 4 recruits every single month. With team recruiting goals, you're setting them, you're sharing them, and you're tracking them. A lot of times people set a goal and a month later go, heck, what was my goal this month, right? What was our team goal? So you're setting them, you're sharing them, and you're tracking them. And then you are putting systems in place to support the growth. And we're going to kind of talk about each of those. So this is a slide we typically share on setting the example. I personally think we need to update it a little bit because everybody's kind of updated their recruiting, and they are recruiting more. We actually shared stats with all the executives of how many more people they were recruiting on average. And I will share with you guys, years ago in the last, well, not last year, but maybe the year before, the average recruits per year for executive levels was like 12 to 14 in a year. Now it's 33 in a year. So it's amazing how we've bumped that up. So the fact that you have to know and make sure your leaders know is if you are recruiting less than 6, you're going to go backwards. All right. You're just going to have more drops than people join. It's just part of the process. 7 to 11, you still can struggle some months. And some people say, why? Because that's like almost at Excellence Awards. But I'm just telling you, based on what we see, some people still struggle because we know not all those people perform. 12 to 17 is when you start to really maintain consistency, and 18 to 24 really is where you start to see that strong growth. All right, so what I want to encourage everyone to do is to take us up on the 5 recruits this month. And, you can re-promote yourself. That's basically what this is all about. But of course, with this $40 offer, that is totally possible. And to remember that your personal team should be matching what you do. So if you look at your performance tracker and you see that you've recruited 24 people so far this year, has your personal team recruited 24? So check that out, all right? Now, if they surpass you, that's awesome, as long as you're doing what you need to do, all right? So I want you guys to really think about, if you say, I'm recruiting 5, then what do you do? So what is your personal recruiting strategy for this, right? I don't want, I'm going to try to recruit 5. You guys know I have an allergic reaction to the word try, right? There's a lot of words I have an allergic reaction to. Can't, try, hope. I hope I do it, right? So hope is not a strategy. Try is not a strategy. So it's about really figuring out, what is my personal recruiting strategy? Because if you don't create a strategy, then it's really just a wish. Like, we all want 5 recruits, but how many people are implementing a strategy to make that happen? So that is my question to you guys, is what is your personal recruiting strategy? How can you assure that you can get 5 recruits in a month? All right, so I am going to stop the share here for a minute so we can all just chat with each other and talk about what that looks like. So who knows, like, one thing that you're doing to make sure that you can actually impact the number that you set as your goal personally for recruiting?
Make sure you're
Cathy?
asking all your hosts.
Okay, Jen, go ahead.
Make sure you're asking all your hosts 5 times.
Okay, so that's a good beginning, Jen. I'm going to pick on you a little bit more. So you're asking all your hosts 5 times. So my question, Jen, is how many hosts do you have to ask to get one person to join?
All of them. No.
That's a good answer.
Well, my rule of thumb is like on parties too. at least 10. You ask 10, you ask 10 people, 3 people are going to respond, 1 person's going to say yes. Like that's generally a rule of thumb of how I calculate.
Okay, now you're speaking my language, Jen. Now you're speaking my language. So this is about tracking, because remember we said setting, sharing, and tracking goals. And so I think a lot of people have gotten away from tracking. Are you tracking the hosts that you ask? Are you tracking the rock star guests? Other people that you've been asking? Because when you know your ratio, Jen knows her ratio. She knows that if she asks 10 people, she's going to get 1 recruit. Okay, so that to me is a strategy. Okay, good. Who else wants to share?
I can share. I think that the best way to ensure that we're getting the recruits that we need is to make sure that we're getting in front of enough people. And therefore, we've got to make sure that our party schedule is full.
Okay, so how many shows do you need to have? How many people do you need to be in front of? You know what your
I do not know
recruiting?
what I don't know my numbers. No.
Okay.
I know that I have set a goal for myself of 10 shows a week. I don't have that on my calendar right now, but that's my goal. And definitely no less than 4 a week. So I haven't figured those numbers.
And so, you know what, even with booking, you can figure that out, Diana. So you can start reaching out to people and start tracking it. And if you guys do this, even for 5 to 7 days, you're going to start to figure out what your ratios are. It's not like you have to, figure out all the math all the time, but it does give you a good idea.
Do a trend.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good. But you're right. You got to be in front of enough people. So how many people is that is the question. I'm going to pick on Erin Brown. So Erin, can you jump in?
Yeah. So yesterday, did I freeze? Am I here?
Yep, you're here.
Okay. Yesterday I had a call with Cathy and I knew this was a struggle for me. And so one of the things that I have had a rule of thumb is like, I am really comfortable at recruiting my host. So instead of like the 4-in-1, because I want to make sure I have a really strong personal show calendar, I do 5-in-1. And so I always make sure I have at least 5 shows. And my goal is to flip 1 of those hosts. So if you do that, that would be for a month. And that is my ratio. Like I went back and looked at it because I wasn't sure. But that is my ratio, is that exact thing. And so I have that mindset, and I've really been talking to my leaders about that, because they, I said, if you have 4, you recruit 1, that only gives you 3 shows. So if 2 are okay and 1 is not very good, then you don't have as strong of a show calendar. So I've really been trying to change their mindset to the 5-in-1. The other thing that I didn't really think about before until Cathy and I talked, I'm sure you guys all have this like epiphany when you talk to Cathy and Stacia, but anyway, it was, once you know your ratio, make that your goal to make those number of contacts by the 15th of the month. And then you're basically ensuring that you're going to have the number of recruits that you need. And if you don't, then you still have the second half of the month to make sure that you're like doubling your efforts to get to where you want to be. So.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah. And so the whole idea is, if you haven't reached that number by the middle of the month, you just keep recruiting, keep asking, and it allows you that time to follow up with some of those people you've already reached out to. But when you implement that, that's kind of like your plan B. Let's say your plan A is, to convert 1 out of 5 hosts like Erin has. This can be your plan B. And, don't, of course, forget about your party rock stars and then all the people you've asked before. I mean, we don't have to be at a party to recruit. It is the best place, but you guys, the fortune is in the follow-up too. So how about one more idea on a recruiting strategy, and then we're going to share some additional strategies around team recruiting here in a few minutes.
Cathy, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, Terry, I hear you.
Hey, so something that I'm doing that is working for me is I'm auditing my parties. So we can, be on top of our parties, and we can, make sure that we're reaching out to our rock stars. But I really think that we're not pulling enough out of them. So going back and auditing, and what I mean by auditing is I go to the very first post and I write down anyone that comments or plays a game or whatever else and do tick marks next to them. And then I run through every single post in the party. And then I know who has really participated. I have a complete list. And then I double check that against who has ordered and who has hosted. And then I go back to that host. And I'm like, you know, just because your party's over doesn't mean you can't reap the benefits. So let's set up 5 three-way conversations with the top 5 people that didn't book, and see if we can go ahead and get a booking, because even though they won't get the $50, they still get the future party pick. You're still helping them out. It's holiday time. They could use that benefit, and then it helps you as well. And so from there, I'm also recruiting. And that's the first thing we're talking about, and then going to booking. So that auditing has helped me greatly.
Sorry, I muted myself. I was saying I love it, but you couldn't hear me. No, that's a great idea. So, I mean, it's really about following up with all those people. It actually reminds me of something that I used to do when I was booking or recruiting. I would call my host first, and then if they weren't interested, I would say, well, how about Terry or Michelle? Like, they were super excited about this. Do you think they're interested in earning some extra income? And then I would call Terry or Michelle and say, hey, I just got off the phone with Cathy, and she was telling me that she thought you'd really, you know, be interested in this business. And so it was almost like a referral from that particular host. So it was really powerful. I got a lot more yeses with those people because the host recommended them. So, okay, great. All right.
Can I just add one more really quick
Yeah,
one?
you bet.
Because it was 2 of my fast track directors in the last few months have been returning consultants. So for those of us that have been around a long time, when there's a kit sale, it's a great time to get back to consultants who left previously and offer them the opportunity, especially if they left for a lifestyle reason. You know, something came up in their life at the time that made it difficult to continue. It's just a good time to get back to people.
Yeah, great. And are they doing well?
Yeah, they were fast track directors, and
Wow.
yeah, like they were both like,
Okay,
yeah,
I missed
you
that
don't
part.
go for the ones that drove you nuts the first time, right? Like you don't get back to them. But it's following up with ones that had a reasonably successful business, or at least were, you know, both of these were decent consultants in the first place. And this time they just jumped right on board, and they were fast track. They were my first 2 fast track directors. So I got to say, I really credit that, because then from there, since then, in the last few months, we've had, you know, 7 or 8 fast track directors in my organization. So, you know, they helped build the belief that it was possible.
That's awesome. I love it. Well, you were very fortunate, because our statistics show that, you know, those returning consultants, if they didn't perform before, they usually don't perform again. But there are a few that do it, and at least you've had those people that were already performing that you selected. So that was really awesome. Okay, great. Let's
say something about
one more. Penny, go ahead.
You know, back in the day, the business was totally different. So like, I just signed somebody else that we weren't virtual, and she's doing great because the business is different. So yes, I agree with you. Normally when people come back, they're the same terrible consultant they were. But now that business is different, I am seeing some differences.
Yeah, I do think the business is different now, and I think that's really a good point. I saw Brandy just said I was a non-performer, and here she's going for a second. So, all right, you're all proving me wrong. I love it. Well, it's because all of you are inspirational leaders. That's why. So you guys know how to help them get off to a good start.
Cathy, can I share a quick little idea?
Sure.
I just call it a 3-2-1 idea, because I like to go back to my cooking party days and start out with the biggest question first about joining our team. And when that's a no, you go to the booking. And then if that's a no, it used to be you go to the recipe card. But for me, it's ask for the interest in the business. If that's a no, try to turn it into a booking. And then if that's a no, ask them if they'd like to be invited to a virtual party you'll be throwing yourself. You could do it as a mystery host or whatever. So you're talking to one person, but you're getting in 3 questions.
I love it. I call that one call does it all, even though we don't have people anymore. It's one contact does it all. Really
like
smart.
Kenny just said, going back to past cooking show hosts that may have said no to me about being a cooking show consultant. I may not have even friended them on Facebook at the time. And there's a big gold mine under Consultants Corner that I don't know if anybody else ignores it, but there's a lot of gold under those lists.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I took their money and ran.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, you're so funny. Okay. All right. So we are going to move on here. So let me share the screen, and let's just hope I share the right one this time. And there we go. Okay. Are we good? Yes, no?
Yep.
Okay, awesome. All right, so so this is what we're really talking about first, is setting and sharing team recruiting goals. So it's your personal goals, your personal team goals, and your organizational goals. So this is really the month for sure. You guys need to set a goal and share it. Like if you haven't done that yet, as soon as this is over, you want to go live and share it. You want to post it. You want everyone talking about it. You want them sharing what their strategy is. How are they going to do this, right? And the important thing is to make sure that your goal exceeds last year, this same month. So, you know, let's say last year you recruited had 2, you know, personal recruits, 2 team recruits, right? So your team recruiting goal needs to be higher than that. But let's say in the last few months, you've been recruiting 10 or 15, you know, in a month. Obviously, it needs to be higher than where you're trending. So you got to look at both last year and where you're at so that you can set that recruiting goal. And then sharing. I always love going live, but you also want to post, because not, you know, sometimes people miss a video if they're at work and they can't listen to the video while they're at work, right? Because of the sound that will play. But you also want to find a creative way to track it. So we've talked about share the love boards. We've talked about using freezer paper, you know, those types of things. Kristen Waringa was sharing that she just did little heart cutouts, and she sent 5 hearts to each of her aspiring leaders so they could write the names of their new consultants on them and put them on the wall behind them so they'd go on Zoom, everybody could see it. So we really want to talk about how you know, setting the goal, how you sharing the goal, and then how are you tracking the goal. And then I think when you're sharing the goal, it's really important to help people understand that, like with every product we sell, every show we hold, every consultant that joins our team, that we are living out our purpose of enriching lives one meal and one memory at a time. And of course, family mealtime is so important. I saw a great post today. I can't remember who posted this. Was it Janelle? I can't remember who posted it, but they were saying they were reading out of Doris's book and going live on her book, you know, Come to the Table, about the importance of family mealtime, which is so valuable to do this during Heritage Month, you guys, because this is when people are really remembering what we're really all about. So, you know, when you have somebody join Pampered Chef, this might be the first time that they've had a real opportunity that worked for them, where they could impact others' lives. Like I know Tiffany has that story. I know Diana Owen has that story. I know a lot of people have that story, that this virtual business has meant a lot. And then the other thing you need to remember is to celebrate when you reach the goal. You know, go live, create a fun post, you know, do something where you're celebrating reaching that goal. And don't ignore it if you don't reach the goal. A lot of people are like, oh, we didn't reach it, I'm not even going to talk about it, right? So, you know what, I always like to say, it's, you know, our team is always watching us, kind of like, you know, my mentor used to always say, remember, your kids are always watching you. They respond, they watch you, and they see how you respond when you reach the goal, but they also watch how you respond when you don't reach the goal, right? And so realizing, hey, it's okay, we did our best, we're going to keep going. We didn't hit the monthly goal, but we're going to go for this quarterly goal. All right, so don't forget to do that. So I'm going to give you guys a little acronym so that you can kind of remember the best way to implement fast-paced recruiting growth. And this is something that I kind of just accidentally came up with one day, and it's about being smart. And this is SMART without the A. So write down the letters on the left side of your page, SMRT. All right? So you can remember how to do this. You can take a screenshot of this if you want. So the S is about support. It's about systems, right? How will you support this culture? Are you doing like what Tiffany recommended with the opportunity event? I know Janelle talked about the Wine Wednesday. I forget what she called it. She had a better name than that. But it was every Wednesday. Like, this is the time to pick up the pace. If you normally do 1 or 2 opportunity events, maybe this is the time you're doing one every single week. So that's about the system. You know, what is your recruiting system? Do people know what to do to recruit? Do they know what to do when they get a recruit, right? And how are you supporting that, making it easy? Do you not just have the opportunity event, but tell them, here's how you invite people? And do they know they should put more time into inviting than the actual time of the opportunity event. So things like that. M is for marketing. So how are you marketing the benefits of recruiting? Think about that. Recognizing, how are you going to not only recognize the results, but the activities that lead to the results? All right, so on our Friday focus call, we were talking about baby steps to recruiting and some of those action steps that you can recognize. And then T is for train. So how are you training to this culture? All right, so let's go ahead. We're going to stop the share, and we are going to have you guys share what you are implementing, and it can be SM, R, or T. How are you supporting, or what are your systems? How are you marketing? How are you recognizing, or how are you training? T is training, Amy. So how are you training? Okay, so who wants to jump in first with one of those? Just let us know what letter you feel like it falls into, and go ahead and unmute, say your name, and jump in.
I can share on recognize. My name is Carrie, and I just started this like today. Just heard about this not long ago, but to recognize, I'm so good at recognizing sales, really great at that, but terrible about recruiting. And so like I'm doing a by the 5th of the month. So I did it today since the day after the 5th, and just recognize who's recruited so far this month. And in addition to greeting by 15. And then I'm going to do it again on the 15th and again on the 25th. And then of course the like, hey, this is what happened in October, after October is done. So I put it on my calendar for the 5th, 15th, and 25th, and I'm just going to be recognizing that more. It just not in front of them enough. And so I'm doing that for my personal team.
Gary, that is so smart, because you're right. We always recognize green by 5, green by 15, green by 25. So really smart. Love it. Good. Who else?
Cathy, I'll go.
Yeah, Lisa.
Lisa from New York. For the market it, I accidentally did this already. I didn't even know I could call it this. I had an emergency Just Ask Zoom on October 1st after the announcement, and we really dissected how many people are actually in every party that need what we have, but is there a recruiter in every party? So I had them really think about, this is a very sensitive time of year when families maybe take on a lot of extra expenses to cover holiday time and things like that. So I know that I tried to overcompensate every year when my kids were little, you know, on top of what my parents were able to do. So, you know, we spent a lot of money. I'll be very transparent about it. We probably spent too much at Christmas, but it was the one time a year where we spoiled our kids. So I asked how many, either in their own personal experience or knew someone who would take on a second job at this time of year, and every hand went up. And then I asked, because they were all from all different parts of the country, what the minimum wage was in all of these places. So on Long Island right now, it's $15 an hour. In parts of Texas, it's $7 and change. And so I said, let's look at what, you know, maybe just a retail job would look like, working part-time, and what they would expect of us, and how many hours, and what time of the day they would expect you to be in. And if you've ever worked in retail, you know it's awful hours, and it's on your feet, and so forth. So we just kind of did like a screen share of what it would look like for someone to earn an extra $100 a week. And it was awful. It was just awful. It almost made me not want to go shopping to have to put these people through this. So when we took that same time frame and we said, let's see what we could do with 10 hours a week in a Pampered Chef business, you know, so we just gave them a real like breakdown of what it looks like to get another job or add hours onto an existing job. And we had a nurse on our team who was very forthcoming, and she said, listen, dealing with COVID right now, she goes, on a great day, it's not fun to stay an extra 10 hours as a nurse, but now add COVID on top of that, who, you know, even if they gave me $75 an hour to stay late, I don't want to.
Yeah, I gotcha.
So we just did it as, you know,
really good analogy,
and what they have to do to make a living in other choices. And then the other thing with the training is, you know, Sharon and I, Sharon's my director, Sharon Zellen, I'm sure everybody knows her, and we're the best of friends, and we're always trying to figure out a way to spin things in a new fun way. So I said, why don't we offer a, you know, we just renamed what we're already doing. We'll offer a power hour training every Monday night, and her and I, we will either take, like, she'll take bookings, I'll take recruiting, or we'll swap. And then the third speaker for the third 20 minutes is always going to be a guest speaker, because between the two of us, we know a lot of people in the company, and some of you better get on your mark because you're going to get called. But you know, we're going to have it. We're going to always leave the third speaker as a surprise each week and not tell them who it is, as just a little anticipation. And we might just you know, add some Happy Meal. Yeah, Happy Meal. I do that too. Happy Meal drawing into who actually attends that power hour. But we just want to make it a little, you know, a little mysterious.
I love it. That's great. Fantastic, Lisa. Thank you for sharing.
Welcome.
Okay, good. Who else? S, M, R, or T for how you're going to get the fast-paced recruiting growth going.
Cathy, I'll share.
Yeah, Jolene.
And I'll share systems because this wasn't always my strong suit. But what I found when we were working towards promoting to our executive team, that I really needed to provide that. And so now we have a system in place where we have a Saturday morning call. We have every Monday, we do a new consultant training followed by an opportunity night. And so I do those every week. I partner with Michelle Anderson on the opportunity nights. The others I do with my directors. But what what I have found is that having it consistent, that they know what is expected, but they know the training is there. And as we bring in new people onto the team, it gives them confidence to know that if they do recruit somebody, that we have the training in place, that they don't have to know everything or do it on their own. And it's kind of sets this expectation that, yes, we do invite people to the opportunity night, and then we have the new consultant training in place. And it's also, I've been encouraged recently because some of these new people are messaging me and saying, hey, I have somebody interested. Can we do a 3-way Zoom? So I'll do that as well. I'm like, don't wait for the next Monday if it's Tuesday morning and you have somebody interested. But I've also found that some of these new people coming in have done other direct sales, but they not have the training support.
Yeah.
So I say it's always Monday. I'm always here. We have a great team of directors to support you. And so be confident that, you know, we have this in place. And so I think we've seen a total change in culture.
I love it, Jolene. And, you know, here's the thing. I know there will be a lot of people that have a system, but their team doesn't know the system. Like your team knows this is what's happening here and when, and then I can do screenshots or I can get you on a 3-way. So good. All right, we're going to do one more, Penny Parks, and then we're going to continue.
I wanted to add on to that because I started in January doing a weekly new consultant training and knowing that they know we can do onboarding and it should be easy for you to bring somebody onto our team. And I know, Cathy, I talked to you this before. In January, I was by myself. I think like 3 weeks in a row. And then I would have one person and it was so freaking depressing. And then suddenly like my team caught on. So I encourage you guys, like, don't quit because nobody shows up. Like my husband was making fun of me after like the second week, you know, but it does work, but you have to be consistent. Like you cannot give up on this. And, you know, then suddenly 1 week I had like 15 people on new consultant training. I was like, you know, overjoyed. So just be consistent.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, great. All right, let me, and you know what, I always call that, Penny, that's the part where you're like eating all the cookies by yourself, and we used to have meetings like meetings and nobody shows up. So build it and they will come, right?
You're not supposed to eat all the cookies by yourself? Oh.
Didn't know that, huh? All right, so let's go ahead and keep moving on.
I would just drink a lot of wine.
What's that?
Just drinking a lot of wine. And
no, that's what you do. You know, cookies, wine, whatever you want. All right, so let me go ahead and share this screen. And let's see, that is now screen 2. Okay, so I'm going to just go through a lot of these because you guys already talked about this. This was nobody mentioned this. This was a recruiting blitz. So instead of a booking blitz, same idea, but a recruiting blitz. Oops. Can you guys see that? Yes or no? Lisa, can you see it?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And then don't forget the Pampered Chef webinar. Stacia, is that October 20th?
Yes.
Okay. So you guys, if you've never been to that, what I love, and Stacia kind of was the idea, the brainchild behind this, was that they have a successful consultant leader, and then they have one of their successful consultants. So it's very influential. So keep those in mind, you guys. You guys know all these ways to market it. You know, talking about the trip, sometimes people want the trip more than they want anything. So heck, they're going to learn to recruit just because of that. Then they're going to learn to be a director, right? This is the freezer paper we've had. You all have seen that. Here's an example of the Share the Love board. The only one this one is missing is sharing the recruiter and the recruit. So some way visually, you guys have to be showing this because they want to see their name. It's got to be on a post. It's got to be something that's repeated. You can go live, but they want, you know, it's the peer recognition that's important. I still love this one that Janelle Varick does, where she has her recruiter here, new recruit here, so they're covering everybody. And then training. You guys know all the things to train, but just getting people doing the activities with a bingo. And we can post this. It might be outdated. I haven't looked at it recently. You know, using Dash. Have you guys seen the new recruiting video that Marna and Emily just did? If you haven't checked that out, check that out for the 40th anniversary. But I want you guys to really then think about this call to action. So Stacia, do you want to chat about this real quick?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Kath. So super exciting. And, you know, we love a good call to action. And of course, we love a good challenge. So we are going to ask you to be working with your teams. Be smart. What will you do in every one of these areas? How are you going to support this culture in your team? How are you going to drive the culture of fast-paced recruiting growth? And we're going to talk about that more on our next Ask an Executive in 2 weeks. Some real life application of how do you drive this culture? How are you marketing this recruiting culture? How are you going to market the benefits, both to the consultant themselves and to the new person that they're bringing in? How are you going to recognize recruiting? How are you going to recognize the results and the actions and behaviors that lead to those results? And lastly, T for train. How are you going to train to this culture? Where are the areas of opportunity within your organization to help increase the skill set that is necessary to have that culture of fast-paced recruiting? So we will post a conversation question, of course, in our Executive Bound Facebook page and ask you to answer maybe one, maybe all, whatever's on your heart and whatever you're feeling. And of course, we want to encourage you to continue to work with your Fab 5. If you don't have 5, get out there and recruit those 5 this month. This is the month for fire. This is the month to make that happen. And remember to be implementing one thing for each letter of SMRT for fast-paced recruiting growth. Of course, lastly, as we wrap up, we want to remind you that in order to attend graduation for Executive Bound in January, we know that you're already working hard to make sure that you're meeting the requirements. You've got a few little extra pass opportunities for you this month to make sure that you complete on a strong note your program. And trust me, you absolutely want to be there. We're going to have recognition, training, inspiring testimonials from your peers, and some super fun surprises, of course. This is going to happen right before Empower. So you want to be sure that you mark this day, January 15th at noon. Oh, I'm sorry, at 11 Central Time. I think we moved that around a few times and noon is still stuck in my head. At 11 Central Time to 1 p.m. Central Time. So if you are committed, type in hashtag no passes. Even if you've already taken passes, maybe it's no passes anymore, into the chat. We are super excited for graduation. And just a reminder that if you use your 5th pass, you will be released from the program and will not be able to attend our graduation event. So if you earn the pass for recruiting 5 this month, you're actually going to have a bonus pass and you will have 6 passes. So hopefully that is one of your goals for this month. And lastly, as we close out, a couple of reminders. Our Leadership Live on Facebook with Cathy will be tomorrow, and that will be at 10 a.m. Central Time. So watch for Kath to go live. I know I'm going to watch, and I'm going to be on commenting as well. And so if you've got questions about anything we talked about today, that's a great opportunity for you to bring those questions and to check those out. And then, as I alluded to earlier today, we will have our Ask an Executive Zoom chat on Tuesday, October 20th at noon Central Time, of course, right back here with us. And we've got amazing Executive Director Christy Roach, who is going to talk about how she has supported and really driven a culture of fast-paced recruiting growth. She was an advanced director this time last year and promoted to executive director. I believe June 1st was her official promotion date of 2020. So she was an advanced director with one director in her organization and now has over 20. So super exciting to hear from her on how she has helped create that culture of fast-paced recruiting growth in 2 weeks. Whew.
All right, Stacey, man, lightning speed. You are fire, honey.
I bring the fire for sure.
She brings the fire. She is the fire. All right. Well, good. Well, we'll all come back on. Like, this is a record, guys. We're 2 minutes early.
Right?
I almost feel like I should ask for questions, but Stacey,
save those for tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, so make sure you guys read the chat, because I've seen so much chat going by and we haven't been able to look at it, but I've seen some really good ideas. So when we send you the recording, just click on the little chat button on the right-hand side and you guys can read it. So you guys go out there and have a wonderful October. Reach out to us if you need us via Messenger. We are here to support you guys in your goals.
And don't forget to let us know if you are ramping up or if you are going for promotion qualifications.
Yes. Yeah. So that's already on the page. I'm going to post the conversation question right now so you guys can comment on that. And I think we're good to go, Stace.
Sounds great. Have a great month, everyone. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
See you guys. Love you guys so much. Go for it. You can do it.
Bye.